Hello and good day. Today we are going to do a shave test. I've got this, well, rather nice Darwin Deluxe it's called. I've got a slight little story I can tell you. So I bought a job lot of razors once that I could tell had a Darwin Deluxe in it. And I was a bit excited because I've always wanted to shave one of these. I'm not going to keep it because, like I said, I'm not a collector of these types of razors. And I've got, well, a couple of CV lava catchers that I'm going to keep one of them. 7-day set and all. So, but I've always wanted to shave one. I've always been interested by the mechanism. I like mechanisms of things and the engineering and whatnot of this side of life. So anyway, I bought this job lot. Even had the cardboard like case it comes in, but I couldn't really see nothing because it was a proper auction house, and all I could see was it on its side like that. I could tell it was Darwin through the card. I could just about see something. Anyway, long story short, I got it home and it was an absolute rust bucket. So on the back side of it here, there was a great big hole, and because like I think these have got like zinc in them and stuff, like it goes that. It's almost like an iridescent kind of light blue, coral kind of blue, if you know what I mean. The way it oxidised and everything. Yeah, so it gone right through. Nearly everything inside was all rusted. And I sold it for parts basically for like a tenner or whatever I sold it for. And I should have actually kept it thinking about it because I could have restored the blades. You know, and I could have added it to this. So in a way I should have kept it. But anyway, you know, the dude he wanted it for parts, so. Fair dinkum, like fair dinkum. So this come to me in a right old state basically. It looked quite nice on the outside, but there's a little button here. Don't pop it up. But inside it was completely seized. I couldn't pull this bit out at all. And to change the side of the strop inside, like the lever, you basically have to flip this little latch up in here. Little latch in there, you flip that up. I'll try and do it now. It's a bit awkward to get, to be fair. There we go, I've just got it out enough. So look, this slides out. Hang on, what am I doing? Right, that's it. Let's flip that up. So this slides out like this, and there you go. So I've renewed the lever on it. It's now got it's the same thickness as the one that was in it. Again, it was completely just gummed up, gross, horrible. It's all sticky and just frankly quite weird. It was weird what happened to it. And whoever had it before would been putting grease in these glider bits here and everything, and it just completely gummed up. They definitely used like the wrong grease and just horrible it was. Nothing worked on it, wouldn't go in and out. Eventually, after putting loads of mineral oil in it, I managed to get it. Hang on, I just got to make sure that blade's not hitting the bottom. Yeah, it's not hitting the bottom. Yeah, it took me ages just to get it to slide kind of thing. So in a way, this is like a posh rolls. That's one way of looking at it. Hang on, let's get this in. Got to put that back up, and then you slide this in. It's got what's called a coarse side and a fine side. It's a little, I don't think you catch it, but there's a little indicator up here that says like coarse and fine. And imagine, you know, you put a coarse diamond compound or whatever, you know, whatever compound you want. So how it works is just like a rolls really. So I'll do it this way first. There we go. It's like that. Flips over. Look, try and do it so it goes slow. Look, you see it flipping? Just like a rolls. It's got quite a smooth mechanism now. I think it could get a bit better with time. This is it doing it the other way, look. That's it. And this is made from, well, it's not so much a special steel, but it's made from colbalt, or colbalt, or something like that anyway. I think it's spelled C-O-B-A-L-T, or is it B, or is it bolt? I don't know. I forget now. But anyway, it's made from that, and I think the handle and everything's made from it. So to get the handle out, you kind of just tease it out like that, and there you go. And then let's have a little look at this thing. So you can just get this blade out, like this one that's been stropped. You can just look, you can pull it to the side, you can just tease it along a little bit. Well, it's a bit difficult doing it like this, but you can tease it along that way and then you can just pull it out. But there is a mechanism for it. So to make it safer, you can turn it into a tiny little straight razor in a way, or a camisori. Like, in a way, bit deadly, I reckon. it works, but it's not something I'd want to use, not with the sharp edges as well. I watched a video the other day, somebody basically saying that's how you're meant to use it. It's not, but you could if you wanted to. So what you do is, you screw this on that way, so it's got 2 screws, so it goes like that when it's in the holder, and then when it's in use it goes that way. So you screw that in like that. Hang on, I've just got to get my head around this a little bit. I'm a bit shaky today. If you see me a bit shaky, it's not because anything's up, not yet anyway. It's because I've done some exercising basically. Right, hang on. Right, so yeah, I've done that wrong a little bit. So I've tightened that up. I forgot. So you've got to loosen it because it comes down in itself. So then slide it in, and then you tighten it up. You tighten it up good and tight and all. So also, look, you've got this little bit that comes out the bottom here. So it just screws out. The thread's not the greatest thread in the world, I must say. So then you've got basically a little tiny screwdriver. So what that is you've got a spare blade in here, in this top bit, and you can just pull it out. And again, you could use your handle to get it out if you chose to. But what it's got in here is a little screw that you can, hang on, there you go. You screw in and out basically. Can you see it? It's a little brass screw. And that screws in and out. So that's for 2 things. You can adjust the angle of the dangle. So so if you screw that in now, it kind of like, it lifts up the blade a little bit. I'm going to keep it as is at the moment, and we'll see how it goes. But also, when you put it in that little holder at the back there, you have to screw it out. So it's about, it's over 1 mil proud. I don't know if you'll see that. It's over 1 mil proud sticking out this side, and that slides in. So that's the door that's open. It goes in that way, protruding that way, and it basically just helps it key in, like lock in a way. So that needs a little bit more. If you was going to travel with that, that's a bit loose. You see, look, it's going backwards and forwards a little bit. You want it a little bit tighter than that. But anyway. So that's it. It's called a Darwin Deluxe. It's basically a Rolls razor on a slightly posher, but it is posher. It was advertised as posh and back in the day as well. You know what I mean? And it's definitely made to a high standard. Colbalt steel and all that as well. Just making sure that blade's nice and locked in. Just going to use my Geo Thumpers lime, lemon. Sorry, I think it's lemon lime. I'm pretty sure it's lemon. Yeah, it's lemon. I weren't impressed with it, frankly. I've used it quite a few times now, but just not really been very impressed with it. It don't seem to, the lava don't seem to get thick, but I'm getting another brush in a few days, so I can at least kind of compare brushes or whatnot, because you don't know, it might be the brush that just don't marry with it. It's a big old brush, isn't it, this one? This Kent BLK 12S. It's a big brush. When I bought it, I didn't realise it was as big as it is, and when I got it, I was like, whoa, the size of that. But I like it. I like, you know, I use anything for a brush really, as long as it isn't too stiff, because I feel like I'm just getting attacked by a brush. I don't really enjoy that feeling as much. Some people love it though, don't they? Stiff old brush and that. I think the natural ones that come out stiff, I think they get softer with use, from what I've read. but I'm no expert in brushes. Not much of an expert in anything really. Every day's a learning day for me. I used to try to be. Oh, I'm still doing my fasting. It's going well. I'm not dropping loads of weight, so it means I'm doing something right, if you know what I mean. I've noticed nothing kind of negative or anything. Positives: frees up my time more, rest my tummy. Yeah, so I've done a bit of exercising before today as well. It's not the best thing to do before you, like, exercise before you're shaving. It's not the best thing to do, but it's the only time I could fit it in, sort of like this today sort of thing. So you got to rock and roll sometimes. If anybody's interested in what I do, it's basically calisthenics. I've got mace balls, which I love. I love mace ball training, it's brilliant. And I come across this thing called ATG, and I forget what it stands for now. I was meant to have a look before I started filming, but long and short of it, this dude developed this system that he believes, and a lot of people believe, it's to strengthen your joints, to make your joints more rock solid and more injury proofing, if you want to call it that. So I've just found a video online that seems good, and it seems it's copying his kind of ethos and everything, and it's 15 minutes long, and it focuses on the lower body, which is, you know, for me, upper body, well, it's the same with anybody. Upper body's really easy to train, isn't it? Your lower body's more of a chore. Even though I've always loved training my legs and everything. I've never skipped leg day, everybody. Never. I still got weight training in my 20s. Never skipped leg day. If anything, I focused on my legs. I loved it. I got up to pushing, well, just over half a ton on my leg press. It was pretty cool times, really, when I think back. Oh, right, well, that's a little bit better. So, again, when you swap and change soap sometimes, it sometimes takes a few shaves to get your eye in a bit, yeah, because instantly that's a bit better. And I think I just spent a little bit more time with that then. I didn't really change my pressure, because my pressure's always about the same. If you remember with brushes, you don't want to put too much pressure, because especially if you've got natural bristles and hairs or whatnot, you're well, you kind of damage them from what I've read, and they probably won't last as long. Yeah, it does feel a bit better, that does. A bit thicker. Right, let's give this old Darwin Deluxe a bit of a whirl. So again, whenever you shave anything, you've got no clue for what, you've got to find your angle. And that's cutting there. Excuse me, just getting a bit closer to see what it's doing. Well, I don't feel like it's doing anything, but it's doing something. I took these up to 5,000 Shaptons. Oh, excuse me, bloody tap. I took these up to the 5,000 Shaptons, and then I went for a quick Nagora progression on my level 5 Jnat. So what we'll do is we'll play about with the angle that a little bit, because that's taking them off, and I can't feel nothing. It's taking them off like I can't feel nothing other than the actual razor. Let's see if we can have a little. It's a pain because this is so old now, like this razor, you can't really find too much about it. Right, so I think I've slightly raised the blade there, I think. So I'm no expert in single edges or nothing, but I think that should be more aggressive now from my understanding of angles. Well, it's different. I think there's improvements to be had. Not so much with the blade maybe, because when I tested the blade on this part of my hand here, I've got a few hairs, were all gone now, but it was popping them off. Yes, it's done its job. It's done its job, but it just feels a bit, I don't know what the word would be, a little bit kind of, there's improvements to have, let's put it that way. I think that's more my technique though, I must say. I think that's more to do with my angles and everything. Right, I'm just going to try the other blade now. Give that a whirl. What we do is we put that in the razor. Right, so yeah, look, you can clearly see, look, because that one's got more of the little, what they called, grub screw. Look at that, look, that's sticking up really proud. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dial that back down a bit, but still keep it higher than the other one. Yeah, so it should be higher. Yeah, it is. So now at the very least that's higher off of the guard. I don't know if you see that. Quite a bit higher, it's definitely about 1 mil higher. So it's definitely a case of you're going to have to experiment with it. I can kind of remember, because I did a lot of research on this a few weeks ago, and I can kind of remember somebody who's mentioning the angle was a bit different to what you'd expect. Like DE or lava catcher kind of SE. Right, yeah, so I've got, that's definitely hitting with less angle now. Just feels like I have to be a bit careful with it. It's sticking out though. Right, well that's definitely my preferred angle, but I think I could dial that down a little bit more maybe. It's probably a little bit too aggressive. Oh right, well that's literally baby territory, that is. Tiny bit of mist there. Yeah, see, I can feel the difference. Yeah, even in the trouble spot, it's got that tight for a single pass. Really tight. Not as tight. Right, so yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Bit of testing, bit of exploring in the shaving realms of the world. So I didn't think it was the blade, because like I said, I tested both blades just on my arm ends, arm hair and stuff, and I was relatively confident that they were both certainly shave ready. But as I say, you never really can tell until you get your metal to face Yeah, it's cool, man. It's always fun shaving with something you never shaved before. And as soon as I see this, I was like, yeah, I've got to get myself one of them. They come in a couple of different variants, the cases. There's one, Mr. Graham Horcroft, who's a fellow YouTuber and restorer as well. I think he's a restorer. He's certainly got some nice razors that have been restored, let's put it that way. He's got like the same set as that, or at least he did, but he's got the posher case. And the posher case means it's kind of like, it's almost got like a hammered effect to it, I think. But they're not like the Japanese little hammers, like sort of, they're kind of big-ish, sort of, you know, like, I don't know what you call it, crevices, domes. But to me, it's like a hammered finish, but just bigger than what we traditionally think is like a Japanese hammered finish. Like to do with the bowls and whatnot. But that's fun, man. So what I do is I'll keep that blade in now. We'll give it a go on the old ATG, and like I said, it might be a bit too aggressive, so it'd be interesting to see if I get any kind of like any form of irritation in half hour, because if I do get any irritation, I can normally feel by the time I finish shaving, but it always comes kind of like about half hour later if I'm going to get anything. But I don't feel overly scrapey or anything. But what I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll dial it down a bit. Come on, it's all about it, though. Dial it down a bit. Yep, screw it out the bottom. Right, lefty loosey, righty tighty. I wonder what other countries use for that. Right, that's no. Sorry, got to release the blade a little bit, so unscrew the handle ever so slightly. And remember not to tip it on its side. Right, what am I doing? Right, a bit of righty tighty because we want less. No, sorry, lefty loosey, innit? Yeah, that's it. That's the right way. Right, I only want a little bit less because I don't want it to go back to where it was on the first one. Right. Yeah, I think that's a little bit less. Oh well, it's definitely a little bit less because I've turned it. Right, I'll screw that back down there. Right, let's give it a whirl, innit? Let's just top that up a bit. Bit more moisture. Right, let's go against the grain. It's a bit different from the old handle. Yeah, I think that's probably my setting or somewhere near it anyway. Yeah, I'll tell you, it's a close shave. Right, be a bit more awkward on the left side. I can physically hear. Is that the right saying? But I can hear the difference from side to side, like, because I didn't quite get, you know, BBS sort of on that side first pass. I can hear the difference. Well, nearly went diagonal then on that little last bit. Well, I'm pleasantly surprised. It's a smooth shave. It's tight. The angle of the handle feels a little bit weird going against the grain, I must say. But as with everything, you know, if it was your razor, you'd get used to it, and you'll find out its little nuances. You wouldn't feel the awkwardness. Same with anything in life. You sank enough, all that kind of feeling goes. But yeah, it's good. Pleased. I'm pleased that I got it going again. Do you know what I mean? Because it was in a right old state. Like I said, the slider thing didn't work at all. I had to really put a lot of pressure in and loads of mineral oil. You know, I couldn't get out the strop at all. Like, I had to take it apart. I had to undo screws. What I might do is I might do a little video of just like how to get things out if it's really gummed up, because I couldn't find nothing online. Like literally nothing. Eventually, I found like the instruction sort of pamphlet in a way. Anyway, I could kind of zoom in and see bits of it, and it kind of gave me a clue of what at least I was meant to be sort of getting near to doing. Yeah, so even that was sort of a bit of a ball ache, do you know what I mean? I had to take loads of screws out at the bottom here and at the back, and yeah, it was just a nightmare. But I did it, man, so I'm pleased. Many hours work's gone into that. I'm certainly not going to get paid for it, let's put it that way. Whatever it sells for, well, unless it goes into hundreds and hundreds, which it won't. Fun. But that's what it's all about, and it's the love of it as well, you know. If you can make a little tiny bit of money on the side so you can get more razors to restore, well, that's what it's all about, really. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you. It's a tight shave. I'll report if I get any irritation. I don't feel like I'm gonna, but that is a mighty close shave, so, you know, maybe I might. I've got a couple of more safety razors to show you. Other than my CV lava catchers, I've got a Swedish single edge razor. Whether I'm going to get that shave ready, I don't know. I might do. It's really awkward because the blades it uses are ones you're meant to be able to sharpen, but they're like the Camasoris. They're, what's it called, asymmetrical. So, you know, I've got to figure it out, but I've got to weigh up if it's worth attempting, or just do I kind of resell it to a collector. I don't know. I will try. I'll try and think about it and see what happens. And I've got another red flare tip as well, so I'm going to shave with that because it's a near minter. And out of all the vintage DE razors I've ever had, the red flare tips, and specifically the ones that are made in Britain, England, I think it says on them, they're my best, because they feel like, I don't know if they've got more weight than the Americans. I'm not totally sure. If it is, it's only a gram or two, so it's not noticeable in hand, but supposedly they're a bit more of aggressive shave, and that's what you want with a Gillette vintage, because I think if there's one thing, kind of the consensus on the vintage Gillettes is most of them are mild, didn't they? I think. And the English flare tip is basically meant to be one of the most aggressive ones, and it just feels lovely. It's just a lovely weight, and especially the curling on it. I just love the curling. It's proper sort of utilitarian curling, meaning it works. It, like, I think, don't want to leave your hand. It's lovely. So yeah, I might show that off. Okay, right. I love you and leave you. Have a good day. And do you know what? Sometimes a good day starts with a good shave. Toodaloo.